I had an architectural drawing of the house plans that I carried around to show everyone my new, bigger room. My grandmother didn't fully grasp what was happening. She was living in a part of the home where she was under 24-hour supervision. To get into it, we had to walk down a flight of stairs and through a locked door. The smell of medicine, the calls of other elderly people in various stages of dementia. The badly lit room pulled us down into her daily life experience. She was sitting in a chair. She had been tied to it with restraints around her waist. She was reading the newspaper, but it was upside down. She didn't seem to know me. She talked to me as if I were my mother or my aunt. I played with her hand and tried to talk to her about the move. Not being able to talk to my grandmother had reached the worst level of impossibility. I went to my grandfather's room to say goodbye. Pop? Oh, he seemed startled. I thought you had already gone. I went to hug him. For a moment, we were caught in an awkward struggle. I kept trying to get closer, and he kept trying to keep me at bay. Suddenly, I realized he had been incontinent. His pants were soaked. He was torn between shame and his desire to hug me for what might be the last time. I left the room choking on my tears. We were moving away from Gary Domblaski, my singing group, and the school where I had worked to gain social acceptance. I kept staring at my architectural drawing, imagining my new room, imagining my new friends, and trying to believe that things were going to be better. I tried. There were going away parties, pledges to write letters, and lots of teary goodbyes. And there was an end of the year dance at our school. When I walked in, I saw Gary talking to Kathy Lipson. Kathy was tall and blonde with large breasts. It was rumored that she allowed boys to feel her up. She seemed to be happy to be talking to Gary. Her breasts were pushed forward. Her eyes were wide. Gary had his hands shoved into the pockets of his pants, and his head was nodding as she talked. My eyes filled with tears. I had to walk past them to get to my friends. As I passed, Gary turned away from her and said hi. Gary Domblaski turned away from Kathy Lipson and said hi to me. I said hi and walked on to join my friends. All night, while the girls danced in the middle of the floor, I danced with them. And all night, I looked at Gary standing with his friends, and we smiled at one another. During slow songs, I watched while boys and girls who were already coupled danced. Girls, arms around boys' necks, hips pressed close, swaying. I wondered how that must feel. And then it was time to leave. My friends and I were running to the parent-driven car that would take us home. I looked back and saw Gary and the group of his friends running after us. He stopped running when he saw me. Look, I got into the car and we waved to each other as the car drove away.